Okay. We have a number of things to cover. I want to do it as crisply as possible. And bear with me. Just flipped over my stuff. Okay, all members are present. Hear from the public.
You weren't here before. Happy New Year, Catherine.
Sir, Happy New Year to you too. Okay. Briefing. Give me a second here. All right, I just want to let you know, we have a 4-unit apartment building that was in a 2-unit zone that was inspected by the Connecticut State Police, Fire and Explosion Investigation Unit. Officers accompanied by the Ashford building official, the state police determined that the building needed to be evacuated immediately under Connecticut Policy Directive 10, restricting the use of a building, immediate hazard. The town has made temporary arrangements for the 4 families and is assisting them in obtaining permanent housing. Any questions or anything about that? Okay.
Catherine, are the families, last time we spoke, I understood that the families could go back during the daytime. Has that
Yes,
status
yes, they
changed?
can. Yes, they can. They
And,
cannot sleep there.
okay, and there were animals on premises, or is that still
Yes.
status quo?
And we've confirmed that the heat is on.
Okay,
Okay. And like I said, we're making arrangements to help them obtain permanent housing. Our new building clerk started on December 29th. Bill, I think you might have had a chance to meet her today
I did again.
in person, so to speak. And she's taking some training this week. Our budget process is in progress. We're just getting into it at this point. And as of January 1st, Ashford's total number of COVID cases was 93, an increase of 29 cases over the preceding 2-week period.
Ooh.
Yes. I have received some calls from residents expressing concerns about the lack of masks and social distancing by some residents at the transfer station. So in fact, some with suggestions on how to maybe line people up or something like that because of how people pull in there. It's just, there are concerns and there are some residents who are reluctant to wear masks, so. Okay, that's all I have for this one. Hear from boards, commissions, and committees. Hearing none. Acceptance of minutes of regular meeting of December 7th, 2020.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Thank you. Motion accepted. So review and discuss the town of Ashford COVID policy. So we're continuing to monitor the CDC state and Eastern Highland guidelines to look for any changes there to see if we need to update anything in our policies. Not at this point. Our reopening plan was put on hold over the holidays. We do not expect to reopen for some time considering what the positivity rate is here in town. Unlike just as many other locales, local municipalities are doing as well. We have heard about some that have had to shut down. I know that we heard about some that were town clerk's offices had to shut down. So that's pretty serious because people couldn't get at some pretty fundamental things they needed to get to. In the meantime, we're still providing service at our window, and let me know if you find anyone's having difficulty with that. Okay. Moving forward, we have new business tax refunds. We have 4 of them. Chris, you want to elaborate?
Yep. Daniel and Sabrina Bowerset in the amount of $3,088.70. Daniel Rabbit in the amount of $10.02. Cammy Rabbit in the amount of $253.33. Kristen LaBranch in the amount of 30714, all citing CGS 12-129.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to accept those?
Roger, you want to take this one?
What is the DGS 42, please, for,
It's the statutory authority to allow a refund in these circumstances.
what are the circumstances?
Linda?
The $3,000 one was a refinance where the check came in from a title company, I think on maybe around the 17th or the 18th. And the next day we got $500,000 in the wire and paying the same account. So that was clearly a refund of excess payments. And the two rabbit refunds were due to the residents moving to Florida and providing the assessor with the appropriate documentation that they canceled their plates and got Florida registrations. And the fourth one, who was the fourth one, Christine? I got Rabbit
LaBranch.
Bauer.
LaBranch.
LaBranch was sold the vehicle and did not replace it. And again, provided the appropriate documentation to the assessor where she issued the certificate of correction, which caused the refund.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess we move forward to approve the refund.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, consideration of building permit modification. I expected the people who are asking for this to be on this meeting. I'm a little surprised that they're not. What I would like to do is, just in case they are delayed for some reason, can I get a motion to move that down to after item D in the agenda?
So moved.
Do we have a
Second.
second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, reaffirm Ashford's continuing participation in suspension and modification of tax deadlines and collection efforts for tax bills that become due and payable on January 1st, 2021. Linda, would you please give us a kind of the short Reader's Digest version of this one?
I certainly will. As two of you on the board remember, when the governor put out the executive order in the spring that all municipalities were to adopt a program, either having low interest or deferral, Ashford opted to go with the deferred grace period for everyone. We decided not to do it through application. It would have provided a hardship to ask people to apply, and a hardship to staffing to try to determine who qualifies and who doesn't. And after analyzing what the interest impact, the loss of interest would be for deferring through October 1, it was recommended that we defer all except for those accounts that are escrowed and those accounts that are landlords who have not applied for a deferral, and hence Ashford adopted that program. Now, on the 16th of December, during the snowstorm, Governor Lamont issued Executive Order 9R, which again, he's recommended, or I guess mandated, that all towns again adopt a program, and those who use the same parameters needed to do nothing except for I guess, change our advertisement, because many of us already had put out our supplemental bills with the due date of January 1, late after February 1, et cetera, and all the legal notices were made. But again, it would be in the best interest of the town and our taxpayers to opt for the same program, everybody being deferred, not the escrow, not the escrow accounts, and again, not the landlords who don't apply. And they would have a deferral through April 1. And most people, I would say a good portion of them, again, will pay on time. They're not looking for the deferral, but it will help all the people who truly need it.
And are you making that recommendation, Linda?
I do recommend that.
Based on that, I will make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have any more discussion?
I just have a question. Linda, do you have any idea of a percentage of those eligible that actually took advantage of it?
Let me think about what you're exactly asking. I would have to graph my collections for July, August, September, and October 1. But I was trying to get my chart up right now for, oh, it's here. Nice. Okay. It wasn't coming up before. I think that they're watching my collections. We were down a little bit in July, but between our escrow accounts and the people who have trained themselves to pay on time, I can't give you a percentage off of the top of my head, but as of today, okay, we have 87.98% of our motor vehicle levy paid. We have 64.73% of our real estate paid, 65.77 of our personal property. And I mailed out our bills early today on the supplement. They went out into the mail on the 9th, and we already have 25% of the levy paid. So people, I think, have been very, very good. The people who traditionally don't pay are still not paying. The rest of the people, I think they really make every attempt to pay their taxes on time. It's pretty phenomenal.
I think you've gotten them in the habit.
Say what?
I think she's gotten them in the habit of doing that.
Absolutely.
And people, I think they want to do the right thing. They want to see the impact on their local towns, you know, and they're just used to do it. They're
Used to it.
looking for it.
Yeah, I believe the intent of that whole executive order was to help those that are most in need. And I have from what you're saying and the feeling that I've got is that people that really need to take advantage are the ones that are doing that.
Yes, I agree. It gives them just a little breathing room to spread it out.
Yeah.
Perhaps a tiny bit more as people are jockeying. And it was only last week that I heard some truly concerning, maybe, you know, sad stories of people impacted. But for them, it's hard to tell how many people are truly impacted by the loss of jobs, the loss of their businesses, et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Linda. Appreciate it.
You're
Catherine,
welcome.
I'll move the motion on the floor.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, moving down to retroactively authorized submission of COVID-19 related expenditures reimbursement in the amount of $72,487.98. I think, Chris, could you speak to this a little bit? These are the expenses that we put in, and this is nothing unusual in terms of retroactively authorizing them.
Right, these were the expenses that Cheryl and Michael put in on the FEMA grant. Or on the FEMA, whatever it was.
Mhm.
And nobody said anything about the Board of Selectmen having to authorize the application. So now retroactively, they're asking that the application for those funds for reimbursement for our expenses be approved.
Chris, and I know state reimbursement by FEMA is 75% of the total they're putting in.
Right,
Are we expecting 100% reimbursement on this 72,000?
we have no
Engineer.
idea.
Okay, because I'm hearing as a general guideline, the reimbursement's running 75%.
Right, that was what we were led to believe, but we haven't heard anything on it in quite a while.
Okay. Are you saying you don't need a motion on this, Chris, or?
Yeah, we have to have a because we have to retroactively authorize it. So
Okay.
yes, we need a motion.
Now, does this include costs that were borne by the school too, or,
I believe so.
okay?
Well, I'll make
So-
that motion. then.
I'm sorry?
I'll make the motion
We have a
for
second.
the retroactive request.
Yeah, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, well, now we're down to consideration of building permit modification. Both you selectmen have received the background on this. Have you had the opportunity to take a look at it?
Yeah, I've reviewed it all. I have a couple of comments and whatever.
Yeah,
And
I've
have
reviewed
you-
it as well.
Okay, I have Jim Rupert on here tonight, and we've looked at some options for this one. So I'm just going to mention the options that have been considered, and Jim, I have a new one. So a little surprise package, so to speak. Okay, give me a second here.
Is Jim with us? I didn't see him.
Yes,
Yep,
he's
he's there.
right there.
Oh, Hey, Jim.
Here. How are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good, thanks.
Okay. So let's see. Our options are to waive the permitting fee required to complete the structure, have the homeowner pay the full fee, permitting fee, this required, because the permit did expire, pay the amount of difference between the original 2001 permit fee and the fee for the remaining work. And I believe the fee for the remaining work is, let's see.
I just sent it to you,
Yeah, I
4,000.
see it. It's the difference between 4,387.26 and bear with me, I wrote it down, the 1,400.
1952.
Thank
Yep.
you. And then the fourth option is kind of a variation on that, and that is to apply a lien to the property for the difference between the original 2001 permit fee and the fee for remaining work. And that way, when the property is sold, or if the owner wishes to pay that off before that, that person has that opportunity. So I don't know, let's say, Bill, your questions?
Well, Jim, the dollar amounts that we and I went over all of the memos from you and Mike and the landowner in that. The new amount of 350,000, is that the engineer and appraiser's estimate?
That's what the contractor's telling us it's gonna take to finish the project.
So
far as I
that's
know-
that's
As far as
what
I
we
know,
would
that
know.
doesn't include the engineering fees.
It doesn't. Okay. Is that the amount we would normally calculate our permit fee, or would we wait for the engineering cost?
No, the engineering cost wouldn't be a part of it. It's actually based on the actual cost of construction, labor and materials.
Okay. And the new permit would bring it up to date on all existing codes?
That is correct. There may be some areas where they might have some difficulty meeting the current code, such as one of the things the contractor and I talked about was the insulation in the attic, or in this case, it's the roof. Current code requires R49 insulation. They currently have R30 insulation installed. I think, that they probably won't meet the prescriptive requirement, but when they do an overall compliance check, my thought is that they would comply. But in order to head that kind of a question off, I did have a conversation with the deputy state building official, and they would be amenable to looking at modifications if there was any strict compliance they couldn't meet under the new code.
And whose discretion would that be by? You?
The state building official's office.
State building?
Yeah, I have no discretion on that matter at all.
Okay. My leaning in going through all of this, Catherine, is to go with Jim's recommendation and issue a new permit under all the existing codes, but credit them the amount they paid on the prior permit off of that amount.
What about the other part of that, which is that they pay that now, or a lien's put on the property and they pay that either later or upon sale of the property?
Is she having a true financial problem with that, right?
I don't have insight into her
Clearly what
finances,
would-
but what was said, and if you read her letter and you read the contractor's letter, there was that implication. So I was thinking, yeah, again, this is a $350,000 endeavor. And this is a few thousand more, so to speak. However, I don't want to be unsympathetic to the situation.
Stop, you God, I'm on the call.
So does the dog
I'm
have
gonna
an
mute
opinion?
myself, the dog's talking.
Well, did she have anything to add?
Oh, he wants a bone.
Anyway, so I was thinking that might be, that might be an option. Something we could give as an option to them.
Yeah, my personal preference is to stay away from liens. They
Yeah,
have a tendency to getting pretty complicated down the road.
okay,
What I'd be comfortable with would be going ahead with the recommendation that Jim has made, and then let her give us some I'm sorry she couldn't join us tonight, but let her give us some feedback if that's a deal breaker, so to speak. I mean, I don't want to break her back on it. She would have an extended period of time, Jim, I assume, to finish the work that's prescribed under the permit.
So once they apply for the new permit, the permit's approved, as long as they don't abandon work for a period of 180 days or more,
right.
that permit will stay in force.
Okay. Do we know if are they paying taxes on, what are they paying taxes on that house right now? I mean, there was no building permit or CO ever issued because the building was never completed, right?
Well, my guess is that they're assessed a percentage of completion, which is what normally happens. Linda, I don't know if you can look it up quickly or not. It's 671 Westford Road.
I will look it up right away. And you said Westford, just regular Westford.
Yeah.
Correct.
Road.
Okay. All right, right now, there is an assessment of 106,200, which translates to taxes for the year being $3,911.98 split into two installments. So that's a pretty, I would say that's a pretty low assessment for Ashford.
I would guess she's being taxed for the shell that's standing there.
Right. And
Yeah.
the land.
And the there would be a building lot and then whatever excess acreage there is.
How much is that a 3-acre building lot, or does it say?
I'd have to do,
No, don't worry, I'm just,
Doesn't matter.
I'd have to look on the other side. I think there's quite a few acres, if I remember. Road.
So understand, I don't have any skin in the game as far as the funding is concerned. This is really a decision for the Board of Selectmen. From my perspective, it's really just a matter of, getting the new building permit and administering the code throughout the rest of the building process.
no, and I appreciate that, but I do appreciate the fact he made recommendations on it. I mean, obviously, this lady has been working under a hardship for a number of years, and I'm sure this COVID thing is just one more added onto it, so not looking to hurt her at all, but I think to cover ourselves with code and to ensuring there's proper oversight of the construction and everything, a new permit is appropriate.
Now, we've never had to do anything like this before? Is this precedence, or is this?
I don't remember anything specific like this, Roger.
Mhm.
Typically this sort of thing is made on a case-by-case basis.
Mhm.
I can tell you, I've dealt with it in other towns, and this is similar to the way that we've dealt with it in the past. The one that comes to memory is a gentleman who in Bolton paid a $10,000 permit fee and never moved forward with the construction. He and his wife got divorced, and then 6 years later came back for a permit fee, and our board cut the new permit fee by 50%. So it's kind of a similar circumstance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Catherine, any thoughts?
Oh, I've been thinking about this ever since it started. So that's why, like I said, to me, there are 4 options. And as far as, I do think that we should be collecting some of this at least, because this is how we pay for our building official and the process that we have. And do I think they should pay the whole fee? No. I think that giving the credit for what was already done, and I thought that Jim did a really nice job coming up with that option. So yes, I'm supportive of that. Like I said, I was looking at the lien part only because in case there's a true hardship at this point. It's a little hard to fathom that when we're talking about doing $350,000 in construction.
Yep.
But, they were looking at a bigger amount than what we're talking about at this point.
Well, in 2001, I think the building permit was for $182,928 was the assessed value of the property back in
Yeah.
2001.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 350, that's about right. I mean, the magnitude.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay,
I will make the motion then to go along with the method that we've discussed regarding giving the credit for the amount paid for the last permit.
I'll
off
second.
of the new permit fee.
we have a second. Any more discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. That was kind of a complicated case and managed to get through. Thank you for reading all the materials ahead of time. And Jim, thank you very much for your help with this.
You're welcome.
Okay, remarks for the good of the board. Do we have anything?
Stay safe, everyone. And
Yes,
Happy
you
New
too.
Year.
Yes, and now we are in 2021 and may it be a great year.
Absolutely.
Okay, take care, everyone. Meeting adjourned.
Good night, folks.
Good night.